back to Say Mojo Homestead. We have just something special for you this weekend. We came to our little hideaway, so we want to share that with you.
Yeah, so we decided it would be fun to share with you guys just memories that we have up here and just the way that this has really shaped who we are today and the impact that it has on us. So it's a little bit more of a personal video, not so much homesteading, but with us just considering you guys, our YouTube family, wanted to take the time to just open up a little bit and let you into another part of our lives. So hope you enjoy it. There are a few chords of commonality that bind us together as human beings: emotions, basic needs, and relationship. And then there is the unchanging binded elements that tie us together and make us who we are, our DNA. While our DNA declares who we are and who our biological family is, it can only go so far into shaping us. That comes down to experiences and daily life. So what happens when all of these things collide in one place for generations? A sacred space is formed. We would like to invite you into our sacred space through memories, stories, and emotion. This is it. This is our fun little hideaway place that we like to get away to and just relax and have fun. So we have done a lot this weekend, actually. Yes. Usually we come up here and just kind of hang out at the cabin and relax, maybe do like one excursion out, but we've taken advantage and done a little bit more than that. Yeah, it's been fun. We've done a couple hikes. So I've never been to like Lake Kiwi, Lake Jocassee, any of those. So it was really neat for me to be able to go to Lake Kiwi and see kind of some of the places that Jeremy went to. Going to lake was a big part of my childhood, so it was neat to see a lake that Jeremy kind of grew up going to. So we did some really fun hikes. Yeah, on the way up, we stopped at Bears Mountain and hiked around up there. Yeah. Forgot about that, yes. And we've always done some of those lower trails, but we decided to explore like on up the mountain and did the High Lake Trail. If you're familiar with Bears Mountain, I think it's the High Lake Trail, something, I don't know. But it was the trails that are farthest out. So that was a lot of fun. Our kids do like hiking, and they can do some long distances and some pretty tough trails. So I was impressed at how Joe held up. There was some up and down, you know, it was not terrible, but with his little legs and being only 4, I was very impressed with how well he did. Yeah. And he did really well. We did a 5.5 mile hike and then a 5 mile hike, and both of those he did really good. One of them was very strenuous, but he did a great job. He did, and it was nice because it was broken up by having the lake, and we spent a good hour there with them just swimming in the lake and kind of resting their legs. Yeah. What was your favorite part about being up here? What do you like?
The creek and eating watermelon and throwing the rinds into the creek.
Oh, throwing the rinds into the creek. So playing in the creek, eating watermelon, and throwing the rinds in the creek?
Yeah, we can't come up here and not have watermelon. It's just part of the tradition.
And that is definitely his favorite. For the rest of this, we wanted to share some of our favorite memories about being up here and just talk about how they have shaped who we are.
Yeah.
All right, so to explain kind of where all this started, we got to go back to the beginning, which is where I am taking you guys now. So we are walking back up the driveway to the road, and I'm gonna put you guys down right here. And talk about this bridge that is behind me. So it's kind of a smaller bridge, but there is a creek down there, and it does go over the creek. So when my grandparents found this, they actually found out about this spot because of the Methodist camp that is nearby. They knew they wanted to find land up here to build a cabin. And so this is about as old as my mom is, which I'll keep that out of it. But they would come up here with their kids, and would work on clearing out this place to build a cabin. This bridge behind me is where vacation started for them. So actually back then, there was more of a wooden bridge that went across this. So it was much more of a bridge. Right now, it's more of like a land bridge. So they would come up here and camp on this bridge as a family while they would spend the weekend clearing out the spot that they wanted to build on. We've heard so many stories of just those adventures. One of my aunts actually fell off of this bridge when she was little, and that's always a fun story that gets told all the time. But she was fine. She's, you know, she's good. She's good. Stories like those that are just so much fun to hear. Family stories, that's what creates those family traditions. That's what creates that family bond. And that is one thing that I love about up here is it's story time when family gets together. And even though you hear them maybe every single time, they never get old. They are always so much fun to listen to.
This particular deck, I've spent a lot of time rocking on this deck with women from his life. I love tradition, and I love just hearing about where people come from. And so I spent a lot of time on this deck with his grandmothers and with his aunts, just hearing stories of their childhood and their time here, and their time with the kids here and with Jeremy. There's just a lot of good memories of just sitting, rocking, listening to the creek, and hearing tradition and stories of heritage and where people have come from, and childhood memories. So I love that.
So this creek holds so many memories of creek hikes, playing in it with my dad, even inner tubing down. This creek connects in with the Saluda River, so we would float down all the way to the Saluda River and even a little bit farther. That was so much fun. But I'm gonna let Selah talk about more recent memories that she has of playing in this creek.
My favorite part of the cabin is the creek, and I really like it because it's just really fun to swim in it and hang out. And I remember one time when my dad took us creek hiking, and we were falling all over the rocks, and it was really fun. And I really like having the creek in front of our cabin, so we can just walk down a hill and just go right into the creek and play.
So this cabin for me has some memories that I just wanted to share with you. This is one of the spots that we came to when Jeremy asked me to marry him. The screened-in porch behind me, when we first were dating, that was the only screened-in area we had, and so he had a great day planned for us, and we had dinner in Greenville, and then we came up here, and he had some friends come and set up a slideshow of a bunch of our pictures of us together, and it was all candlelit. It was very romantic. And then he took me to Bald Rock, where his parents got engaged, and he had someone go ahead of us there and set up a fire and have it all ready for him to wash my feet and have the fire and then ask me to marry him. So, of course, this spot is full of wonderful memories for me with that.
So some of the best memories are when we would come up here for Thanksgiving as a family. We'd cram in this little cabin and we would sit around the fireplace. The chimney's behind me, but the fireplace has so much character. It's probably what developed my love for a fireplace, and one of the main reasons we ended up putting in a wood stove in our house. I know a wood stove is a little bit different, but just having that live fire in a house brings back those memories and just that time together, and just knowing that there's something magical about a fireplace. And when you have a fire and when you're sitting around it, it's providing warmth. You're hanging out, you're sharing stories, and just enjoying life together as a family and making those memories. I don't know there's much more that's more comforting than a fire. And so that is one thing that I love about our cabin. One fun side story about just my granddad is he would always threaten to put in gas logs in here. And that was like my nightmare. And I would always tell him, no, you can't do that. You're going to ruin the cabin. Well, thankfully he never did. thankfully it's still wood burning, and we do get to still enjoy that aspect of this cabin. Now, it is the only source of warmth, but it heats the entire cabin just fine, and one of the things I really like about it.
One of my favorite things about coming up here is getting ice cream. And I remember a time I was eating ice cream and the bottom of the cone fell out, and it was pretty funny. It was blue ice cream too.
Coming here as a kid and just creating all of these traditions, and it was a place where you really learned like who your family was. And what I mean by that, not like who individually, but just learned about your family. And that gave us identity. And that's something that is missed so often in the world today. So one thing I'm coming out here to show you guys is another one of our traditions when we would come up here for the 4th was picking blackberries. So there are blackberries all along the road. I don't know if you can see these guys here, right there. There is nothing like wild blackberries, in my opinion. And that was shaped because we came up here. It was a family tradition, and really that has carried over onto our homestead. These are amazing. And one reason why we really wanted to cultivate those wild ones that we had on our property. And we always say it's, using the food that was already there, which is huge. But one reason why I was so excited when we found out we had wild blackberries and really wanted to be intentional about growing them and harvesting them is because of my memories up here. And you miss out on some of the sweetness and stuff if you don't buy the cultivated one, but it's the nostalgia of it. And my kids also are picking blackberries for the 4th of July, and so just to be able to carry that over for them as well on our homestead is just really cool. So this is just one example of how it has really shaped and defined who I am today. Just the traditions of coming up here. Coming up here while we were kids on a regular basis, it allowed us to be boys because there were only boys in my family other than my mom. But that established that appreciation and that love for the outdoors, for nature, for noticing all the little tiny things that I feel like so many people just overlook or don't see. Growing up playing in the creek and looking for crawdads, and then discovering, look at all of these other little tiny things that live in the creek, or, going hiking and just developing, again, like I said, that appreciation for the great outdoors, which ultimately kind of, I think, sparked or definitely fed that desire for landscape architecture, and also just that fascination of working with nature, which we do try to implement and apply on our homestead. And to look at how those pieces are fitting in now at the stage of life we're in and what we're doing is really fascinating to me. Really cool. So just another thing that has really impacted me, having this place that we can come up here and escape to, and also just looking forward to seeing how it's going to influence our kids as they continue to come up here as well.
I grew up in California, and we would go camping in the mountains with my grandparents, and this feels like that. We tent camped a lot. We did have a cabin for a short period of time in my life, but we did a lot of tent camping, so that was different. But hiking through the woods and being in the woods, that feels a lot to me like my childhood. Still nostalgic, even though I didn't grow up coming to this particular place. Growing up playing in the water, playing in the creek, being in the woods, being in the mountains, having my children here, playing in this creek, being in the mountains, hiking, it just feels very like I'm passing on a little bit of what I did when I was growing up, even though we're in a different part of the country. So for me, this is a place where I can come and kind of share a little bit of my childhood with my children and reflect on just our life and where we're going and everything that we have and we've been blessed with. it's just a spot that to me feels like you can breathe, relax, and unwind. So I love coming up here just for that reprieve. There, you know, we don't get internet service, we don't get all the text messages and all that. So it feels like we can just detach from the world and enjoy being up here and just slow down. So I think that's what I love the most about it, is that we can just slow down and enjoy our family, play games, read books, do things that we don't usually get to do because of the craziness of life. So I just love the memories that we've made here. I'm so excited for the memories that we'll continue to make here with our children.
All right, guys, so as you can see, there are so many memories up here, and this is just from our family, not even like my extended family. There's one last thing that I wanted to share with you guys that just makes this place special, and that is all of the little thumbprints that are all over around here, that have been left by my aunts, my uncle, just that, like, the family thumbprints, the ways that the mark has been left around here is really special. It's almost like a little family time capsule out here, where you really feel like, you know, this never belonged to anybody else. This is truly our special place. I would even say our sacred place. My granddad passed away 3 years ago. And this is the one place we can come where it feels like we still have him. While it's hard not having him, it's a comfort being up here. All of the little things that he loved, the little trinkety things. He was so much into antiques, and he would find something that would interest him, especially farm antiques. And he would put it up here and have it, and you being around that stuff in some ways bring him back. This was his special place. This was his place where he would come and get away, and he would come and spend time with family. And, you know, it's so many great memories. Even, you know, don't let that door slam. It was heard so many times. Could still see his reaction to things, and watching, and, you know, saying, oh, don't throw the rocks in the creek, it's gonna wash away the bank. Sitting in his lap and watching the creek, having him build that fire in the fireplace, and having those discussions of, are we gonna do gas logs or not? It's just a really special place. And bring my grandmother up here, for her to still be able to enjoy it and have, I'm sure, those memories come flooding back in even more than we have. It means a lot. And so, as you can see, like, there's no other place in the world that is as special as this place is to us. And it means so much to be able to come up here once or twice a year and bring our kids up here and continue those memories and continue those, just the traditions that have so shaped who we are as people, and have really altered, in a good way, our life and our path and our thinking as adults. And what all of this means to us is priceless. I know that there's not a lot of families that have places like this, and so it is such a treasure for us, and it's something that I do not take for granted at all. It's something that is very special, and I recognize that, and we cherish this place because of that. Because really it is. It's, like I said, it's a living, it's not a museum, but it is a living time capsule for our family. And that is something that cannot be created overnight. It takes generations to create that. But it's something, if you have it, it continually just becomes more and more a part of who you are. And so while we love what we do with homesteading, this place has just as big, probably a bigger place in my heart than any other place that we could possibly go to. So thank you guys for joining us and allowing us to share this with you, allowing us to share this little piece of heaven on earth with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Just wanted to give you a little bit more of insight into who we are, into our lives, into what makes us tick, really, and what has helped to shape who we are. Thank you guys for joining us on this special little video installment to our channel, which is just as much for us as it is for you guys. So have a great week and be blessed.